You're listening to a CNA podcast.
Hey there, this is Andrea Heng. Welcome back to the Money Talks podcast. This episode is brought to you by SkillsFuture Singapore. As someone who's worked across many industries, I've been through it all, okay? Print journalism to PR and now radio. I've had the incredible luck of having mentors in each and every job that I've had. These are the people who saw something in me, nurtured me, they shaped me to who I am today. Well, enough about me. It's not just the people who need mentors, but businesses need them as well. That's why SkillsFuture Singapore has created the SkillsFuture Queen Bee network, a space where industry leaders and SMEs can come together, they network, they learn from one another, and it all sounds really intriguing. To explain more, we have with us today Yee Wee Tang, Managing Director of Grab Singapore, and Xu Wenshan, Director of the Enterprise Engagement Division in SkillsFuture Singapore. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks.
Okay, Wenshan, let's start with you, okay? Tell us more about the Queen Bee network. And I'm going to spell it out because I think not a lot of people recognize this concept. Queen, as in Queen, Queen, Bee, as in the insect bee. So it's the Queen Bee network. Tell us more about it and what it entails.
Actually, I think you said it very well in your introduction.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just give an analogy, and really this is what it is. So you can imagine a queen bee is one that looks after the colony of honeybees and little bees, right, in where they are. So this is what exactly our SkillsFuture Queen Bee do. So SkillsFuture Queen Bees, they are industry leaders, progressive companies who have stepped forward to say that I would like to do something to support the workforce development, the skills development of the workers in the SMEs in the value chain or the network that I'm in. And one of our Queen Bee partner here is Grab. Yeah. Essentially, I would say that the Queen Bees are also our boots on the ground. I always like to say that, because really for SSG, our mandate is to support, and we do a lot of things, but one of it is to support enterprises in the upskilling of their workers. And I think at SSG, there's so much we can do to reach out to all the SMEs, and we certainly need partners like Queen Bees through their networks to help and support the SME better. And now what you said, as a mentor to the SMEs.
It's kind of like your big sister, big brother kind of vibe,
correct.
right?
Yes, like a big sister or big brother.
Yeah, exactly. And that's great. So Wee Tang, Grab is a queen bee, as Wenshan pointed out. What's the requirement of a queen bee? And more importantly, what's the role of such a company?
Okay, let me start by saying at Grab, we try to invest in our people and because we do think they are the biggest asset to us. And we actually have three segments of people that we have to take care of. First, the employees, which are what we call the grabbers. So an employee, we have to train them, we provide them training, whether it's Grab-wide training, like technical skills, management skills, to a bit more departmental level skills like data insights, data analytics, and also a lot of coaching, mentoring, as well as feedback that we give to each individual grabbers. Then the second group, who we call the delivery and driver partners. And these are the people who are on the ground.
The ones we see on the roads every day.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And these are the people we also need to make sure that a lot of them actually join us not for the long term. They are here for a short while, and what we try to do is for those who want to do something else, we make sure that we provide them training and assistance as best as we can. That's why we set up this Grab Academy. Grab Academy is a flagship program for us where we try to help our partners. And in this, we give them access to training, understand their concerns, and try to onboard them to another company. And lastly, with this SkillsFuture Queen Bee, which is part of who we are today, not only focus on our workforce, but also to help the SMEs in the F&B sector. Because in our platform, we have merchants, and 90% of merchants are actually SMEs. And so it benefits us when our merchant partners also are well-trained. They get the right training, the right funding, as well as assistance for them to grow and be a bit more future-ready. So many of these businesses were impacted during COVID. Even today, they continue to face a lot of challenges from manpower shortages, rising costs, as well as changing consumer demands. As a SkillsFuture Queen Bee, we try to help these SMEs as best as we can to make sure they're resilient and become innovative and learn about all the new things to make digitalization world, adapt to it.
And customer insights as well, is to help them just make their products appeal to a specific audience, etc.
Precisely. So on top of SkillsFuture Queen Bee, we also have what we call a Grab Merchant Center. So Grab Merchant Center is also set up is in our office to really help these SMEs. So together with SFQB, we felt that complements each other very well, where we can give them one-to-one master classes, bite-sized classes that we actually source and have a good understanding of their challenges. And then we come out with these classes to help these SMEs.
That's great. And you pointed out something that I really didn't think of, and that so many of our merchants are actually, I see them as brands on the app, and you don't really think about them. Oh, they actually are small and medium businesses. So Wenshan, I'm looking at the list of Queen Bees in the network. And not only are the companies impressive, but they also cut across multiple industries.
Yep.
So there's Raffles Hotel, that's hospitality, right? There's DBS Bank, it's a financial institution. And then Microsoft, big IT Silicon Valley brand there. And the list goes on. So how have they helped other SMEs in their industry, especially when it comes to cutting costs?
So what our Queen Bee partners do is that they seek to have engagement with the SMEs to understand their pain points, to understand what kind of training provisions and modalities of training that they may need. And actually what we do is that we then co-create with the Queen Bees. So the offerings are actually quite different across the various Queen Bees. Maybe I just quote a few examples, but I thought I would like to start with what Grab has. It could be something that may be very small, but I think it makes a large impact. Okay, so essentially for many of the merchants, I believe for Grab, right? Particularly, we see the issue of no time to send people for training,
yes.
right? So actually what Grab did, which I thought was fantastic, was to bring school to the workplace. I mean, that cut costs too, because then when, let's say, so school meaning that, okay, partnering IHL, the Institute of Higher Learning, they will come to one of the merchants and share some of their insights and capabilities and transfer some of their knowledge, right? So that concept of bringing school to where the merchant is and conducting master classes for the merchants in their premise is one that I think it cut costs, because then you don't need to send the manpower for training. You train within the work environment and you learn at the same time. So that's something that I think Grab did very well, to just support, understand the pain point or where the merchants are, knowing that it's hard to send workers for training and bring the providers of training to the workplace.
Yeah.
So that's one. Another thing that some of the other partners do, you brought the example of DBS. DBS is one of our Queen Bees. They are looking at the area of sustainability. So something that I thought they have quite creatively done, for example, they are looking into providing financial loans and support for SMEs in their network for green loans. But what we have done with DBS is say that as an SME, before you are eligible and to be considered for green loans, you need to understand what really is sustainability as a concept. What is sustainability reporting? Know your ESG awareness and knowledge. So as a Queen Bee, what we have developed together is that they have asked the SMEs to say you can go for training first to understand about ESG, to understand sustainability. Okay, after that, you know already, we are confident about this, and then you apply for the green loans. Yeah. So I thought this is quite a holistic package.
Yeah.
I think from DBS perspective, is okay, you are confident when an SME take your green loan, the SME knows what sustainability is.
Yes.
And to the SMEs, not just taking the loan, but also knowing how to apply and what to do once they gain the knowledge. And I think another example I'd like to bring in recently is the ST Logistics. So they are in the logistics sector. In the supply chain, and one of the issues that they have been talking to their SMEs which is about manpower issue again. So it's quite hard to attract people in the logistics sector, especially the younger ones from school, right? So what they have done is that they partner the Institute of Higher Learning, ITE, I think SIT as well, to develop work-study programs. The student will then spend some time in the school, but also some time as well in workplace learning in the company.
Right.
And this is also a way where the students get to understand, apply the knowledge they've learned in the company that they're attached to, and then hopefully from there they are comfortable and then they stay on. Yeah, so that's what ST Logistics have done to partner IHLs, develop such programs where they attract the young ones and to try to retain
So
them.
it really, the takeaway I'm getting from you, Wenshan, is that it's a two-way street essentially. It may seem on the surface beneficial to the SMEs, but ultimately the Queen Bee also benefits as well. The industry at large also benefits from this kind of networking as well. And I think that can only be a good thing. Now, I wanted to turn to the F&B industry. Wee Tang, it can be a cutthroat industry, and a lot of your merchants are in the F&B industry, and you know all these pain points. And there's so many different aspects. You've got the kitchen, you've got the front of house staff, you've got sourcing for ingredients, coming up with the whole dining experience, and that's on top of all the other stuff that they have to do to deliver their products in takeaway form to customers. As a Queen Bee, Can you take us through how Grab has helped other F&B SMEs in sorting out some of these problems?
Yeah. So as a Queen Bee, we have focused on addressing some of these needs, especially on the SMEs. So we conducted a sector-wide study on their needs and identify any skills gaps that we see. So the training that we covered today includes managerial capability, business expansion, because we also help bring business to overseas, for example.
So it's actually stuff that's not necessarily to do with being on the app, for example.
Yeah,
There's a lot more to it than that.
Of course.
Oh, right. Okay.
Talent management and retention.
Okay.
Workplace learning, as well as digital marketing.
Right.
On top of that, we actually partner with Ngee Ann Polytechnic to co-develop tailored courses for food services SMEs and focusing on areas like data analytics, leadership, communication, as well as digital marketing. So obviously, our advantage of Grab is we have a lot of data insights that we could help a lot of these SMEs. So these are the areas that we try to help them as much as we can. And we really believe that by working with them, having a closer relationship, we also learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
We learn a lot about their struggles, the issues that they face, and also then make us innovate better and faster to come up with new services and product that we can help them. For example, one of the things that we realized the SMEs do not have is a loyalty program. And because of that, it's like a stamp card and things like that.
That's right, yeah.
And if you, as an SME, you try to implement it on your own, it's going to be costly.
Yes.
So we built something that's useful, that all SMEs can just adopt easily, and all of them have sort of a loyalty program.
But the thing is, don't all of these efforts add up to cost for Grab? What were some of the support measures or grants that you could tap on? Because it sounds like you will either need to hire someone to conduct these sessions for these other companies, or it's added workload to your current staff.
No, so at Grab, we have got a lot of support from SSG through, for example, our role as a SFQB. We got a lot of grant from SSG. And this actually helped us to empower a lot of SMEs in terms of training resources, fee grants to our SME partners. Since the start of Grab's journey, we found these grants super useful and allow us to cut a lot of costs. For the SMEs themselves, there are actually a lot of opportunities that they can tap on their own. One of them is, for example, SkillsFuture Enterprise Credit. And I think one of our SME partners, Commonwealth Concepts, has been leveraging this through SSG and the funding, and be able to send a lot of their employees to get upskilling training. To the SMEs out there, if they're listening, please tap on all these grants. It's very useful, and it would really
the money is there.
have real impact, and so allow them to cut a lot of costs.
Yeah, the money is there. Go grab it.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I'm so sorry. No pun intended. But I have to ask you also, Wee Tang, what's in it for Grab?
So as I mentioned, many of these SMEs are on our platform. 90% of them are on our platform. And we see them struggling through COVID, and now hopefully COVID's gone, but they still have a lot of these issues like manpower, costs and all this. So for us, seeing them be able to train and getting into the digital world makes us much better in terms of it allow us to offer much better services, increase the standard on our platform. They become our SMEs, F&B merchants become more innovative. They come up with new food menu on a quarterly basis or half-yearly basis. And the data insight that we provide them also help them to sell more, come up with better menu, a bit more targeted. And so again, it helps our platform. So we really see this as a very win-win situation for us and as well as our merchant partners.
Yeah, it's a nice little ecosystem that you've built for yourself there. So that's some of the feedback that you've heard there from Wee Tang, Wenshan. What are some of the feedback you've received from the other Queen Bees? And why would a company bother to spend time, resources on their own part just to be a mentor?
Well, I think that the question that I asked, we think is really a very helpful one. Many of our Queen Bees, they do see it as one way that they can create resilience in the ecosystem and the supply chain that they're in. Maybe I just use an example. Let's say Sheng Siong is one of our Queen Bees as well. So essentially for Queen Bees in the supply chain, they are looking at ensuring that the network is resilient, right? So they have a network of SMEs. They could be their, let's say for Sheng Siong case, maybe people that they purchase the supplies from, for example, the suppliers in the value chain. And actually what they are thinking of for that is that, let's say, at Sheng Siong, I want to introduce more digitalization, e-invoicing in the network that I'm in. And I can't do it alone, because if I just do e-invoicing but everybody else is on paper and pen, that's also weird, right?
It kind of defeats the purpose already, right?
So essentially, one of the areas that for Sheng Siong that they are looking at is to introduce e-invoicing and to their suppliers as well, so that everyone as a whole, the whole network uses that and then uplift the digitalization. So I say that for the Queen Bees, one way they can think about it is how does the programs add that strategic value to them as a company, as an employer? And how would then they step up and contribute to then the network that they are trying to build? And this is what a common observation that I see for Queen Bees.
Right.
And I think this is what motivates many of our Queen Bee partners. SMEs are not the easiest target group, right? So they do have pain points, and we do need to acknowledge that. But I think what keeps our Queen Bee partners going is that sense of, firstly, to uplift the sector, but also secondly, this adds value to the supply chain that they are in, the value of the network that they're trying to support in building this up.
Yeah, just a parting thought here. What advice would you give to companies out there who might be thinking of becoming a Queen Bee?
Oh, don't hesitate. Just join. Essentially, be a mentor in your network, be seen as that. And also, what Wee Tang mentioned, we support our Queen Bees through grants so that Queen Bee can do their work well. For us as SSG, essentially, we account manage all our Queen Bees and we talk to our Queen Bees on a regular basis to co-create, to understand the pain points of the SMEs in our network and then co-create solutions with our Queen Bees. And we do our very best to support our Queen Bees in the effort that they are putting in.
And you're ultimately supporting the SMEs as well.
Correct.
Wee Tang, what would you say to would-be Queen Bees out there, or those after listening to this podcast might consider becoming a Queen Bee as well, just like Grab?
For us, we are ultimately really honored to do this, and talking to the SMEs, the owners, they really appreciate it. The insights we give them, some of this training that we provide to them, because before this, they really do not have a lot of help. So just looking at the changes that they, especially those who come and really learn and adopt some of these trainings and tools that we provide to them, and see just the business growth month on month, it gives us a lot of happiness in our team and to my team as well, who does all this training. And
it's really the same as how any mentor would feel when they see their, I don't know, they don't call it mentees, their apprentices, whoever comes to them for help. Baby bees and honeybees. I think it really does make sense now, the whole Queen Bee concept. So thanks very much to the two of you. So Wee Tang and Wenshan, this is the part of the Money Talks podcast that is very unique. It's called Questions from a Hat and nothing to be scared of. So I'm going to shake this up and you're going to choose one card, hand it over to me and I'll read it out to you. Okay, we'll go with you first. Wee Tang, your question is, what is pricey but always worth it?
good food.
That's a good one. That's the first for the Money Talks podcast. Okay, Wenshan, it's your turn. Your question is, what do you spend the most money on?
I think I've spent the most money on my cat.
Wait, how many do you have?
One.
Okay.
But she's super precious.
Oh, how old is she?
She's 5+ this year.
Aw.
Yeah, we adopted her from the streets. My husband and I, we spend a fair bit of our money on her food.
Yeah.
And just to make her happy.
Only the best for your companion,
Only the
right?
best. Yeah.
Thank you so much once again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
To you business owners out there, SMEs especially, we hope there was something to take away from this episode. And would-be Queen Bees out there, you know what to do. Now, if you have any thoughts or questions about this episode, this topic, or others, just slide into our DMs. You can find Money Talks on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Do not forget to rate us and subscribe so you'll know when a new episode drops. Thanks to the team as well, Crispina Robert, Tiffany Ang, Junaini Johari, Joanne Chan, To Yen Yen, and Sa Ye Wind. This is the Money Talks podcast. Thank you for listening.